What is up, everyone? I am Gregory LaPerche. I usually review fantasy books on this channel, so if you're new here, that's usually what I do. But today, I'm going to be talking about Star Wars because I love Star Wars and I also love forgetting to make my screen bigger. There's my beautiful face. So, disclaimer, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I actually haven't seen like the original trilogy in quite some time. And actually, a lot of these movies I haven't seen for at least 3 or 4 years. So I definitely want to rewatch these maybe in the next 3 to 6 months and then just redo this tier list and see if I like my memory of the movies is correct or not. But yes, we will start with episode one with the beginning. It is a very good place to start. So, one, I always defended one super hard growing up. I love the world building, and I don't think people give episode one enough credit because it really built the Star Wars expanded universe. Even like the Old Republic, obviously the Old Republic set thousands of years before episode one, but like they use the same world building ideas, right? They have like Coruscant as the capital and, you know, the Galactic Senate, which some people find those scenes boring. I like the little minute details of the political intrigue and stuff. Some of the dialogue's pretty meh, but I just love the world building too much. I will put it at high A tier. Episode two. So the dialogue is worse than episode one. The like character emotions and stuff. And I do like sympathize with Lucas and everyone making these movies because the Jedi are supposed to be emotionless. So it's like, how do I act this out? And it's like, well, you just be as emotionless as possible. So like, it's weird, but I get it. Um, but yeah, episode two, probably like D tier. The ending was cool. A lot of cool stuff at the end. It could be C tier. I don't know. I haven't seen episode two in quite some time. We'll put it at like D plus tier. That sounds fine. Actually, you know what? You could just fast forward through like the super cringy Padme Anakin scenes and just save some time, save some like unnecessary cringing, and like just put it in C tier. But then you have to press the rewind button. Yeah, D plus, D plus, or fast forward button, whatever button. I don't know. All right, episode three. I didn't write notes before taking this video, so this is just like totally on the fly. I'll give it like B plus tier. Maybe A minus. So I like the story. I like, the fall of Anakin. The Anakin Padme scenes made a lot more sense. Obi-Wan, great character. The Emperor, great character. Both of those were done well. Mace Windu getting thrown out the window and having the text say Mace Windu is not an imposter. Classic scene. You know what? We'll give this one A. I do like it a lot. It's impressive too when you know pretty much exactly how the plot's going to play out, but you still love the movie anyway, even though you knew beforehand what was going to happen. So yeah, phenomenal. Rogue One and Solo. I feel like I should just save these because no one cares about these. Episode four, boom, S tier. It's so good. The world building is not as good as episode one. I will be honest there, but definitely better characters. When you think about characters from Star Wars, you think of the OG characters. The plot itself, actually, in this one was great. It seemed like super original at the time, like a farm boy going off on a quest. I guess like the questing thing was in fantasy. I don't know. I'm not an expert at classic fantasy and sci-fi, but it was done phenomenally well. And just a lot of things that now we kind of consider like tropes, like sometimes even tired tropes like farm boy, princess, rogue scoundrel. But they were all done so well. And like Star Wars made those things into commonplace pop culture tropes that everyone knows because of how well episode four did them. So yeah, I mean, clear S tier. Episode five, I really need to watch the OG trilogy again. I feel like this was better than episode four, just because like They had ironed out any sort of like graphic design kinks and just made them better. The music, I haven't even talked about the music in any of these movies, but it's phenomenal in like all the ones I've talked about pretty much. But yeah, episode 5 with like the spaceship chase through like the asteroid field, that was great. And it visually made a lot of sense where like the Star Destroyer couldn't really maneuver through the asteroids that well. You know, the plot twist at the end, which is just so classic. And again, that this might be kind of a trope now too, but again, Star Wars made this like a super common pop culture trope with the, villain being related to the hero sort of thing. Episode 6. I'll say B plus maybe. I like it. It's good. It ends happy. Good happy ending. And I think it really did set out to do what George Lucas wanted it to do and to wrap up the trilogy. I don't know. The beginning was kind of boring, like Jabba's palace, just chilling in there for a third of the movie. And then Endor, it seemed like all over the place a little bit. But like the all over the placeness at the end is cool because I mean it's classic Star Wars space battle, you know, ground guns, assault vehicle battle, and lightsaber force battle all at the same time. I actually don't think like the ending was done as well as something like the episode 1 ending. Maul versus Obi-Wan was so good in that. And yeah, I mean like the blowing up the Star Destroyer, we kind of saw that in episode 4, but it was pretty unique in episode 6 as well. It was just a little less climactic, I would say. But yeah, all around solid. Episode 7, mm, what do I have? 7 tiers total here. Yeah, we'll put it like second to last. The story, absolutely atrocious. The plan for the rest of the trilogy, non-existent. The plotting itself, very few good things I have to say about it. The characters, though, I like Rey. I like Kylo. Kylo actually in this movie, meh. Like he was just too like complainer-ish. But yeah, I mean, I liked having the OG Han and Chewie back. Good plot twist at the end with Kylo. But the rest of the end was silliness. You had like them rehashing the episode 4 plot of like, hey, there's this huge Death Star type thing that's like 20 times bigger, and we're just gonna go in and kill it. And it didn't even feel good when Poe was just going in there. Like he just destroyed everything so super easily. I don't know. It just wasn't exciting. Oh, and like they blow up like 10 planets in the middle of the movie. There, like, I felt nothing. Like, because like we don't know what these planets are. We don't know what they're doing. Like there were just like huge things that happen that like I just didn't care about as a viewer. Like, think about episode 4, for example. Even though Alderaan is being blown up, and we haven't been to Alderaan, we don't really know anything about Alderaan. It's being blown up in front of Princess Leia's face, and her like emotion on her face, and it's just like so impactful just from her like having to watch it, and like and Obi-Wan too being like, I just felt a million lives go out in like or whatever his line is. It's great. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna incorporate tragic events into your movie, at least make like the viewer feel something. So yeah, and like I know J.J. Abrams has a long history of screwing people over with like in terms of plotting things like fantasy series like Lost. Basically everyone's like, yeah, it's all JJ Abrams' fault that like the end didn't make sense. And I didn't even watch Lost, and I didn't even know anything about JJ Abrams going into those movies. But like in retrospect, it makes a lot of sense that the plotting was just so bad. Episode 8, I liked episode 8 a lot. Even though things within episode 8 did not make sense. So first, the characters. I like him in episode 7. I think they get better in episode 8. Rey gets better and Kylo gets better. Episode 7 had so many like plotting issues that there was like no knowledge of what world we were in, so it was very awkward for episode 8 to kind of try to be like, "Okay, do I play with, like, the absolute nothing that episode 7 gave me, or do I try to, like, make new stuff?" And, like, it kinda did both. And, like, the plotting was done well enough, I would say. It focused a decent amount on interpersonal relationships, like Kylo blowing up the bridge. That felt, like, very impactful. Also, Star Wars becoming, like, a little bit political again, I like that, and I think that's why I liked the original trilogy so much, like, George Lucas just being like, "Yeah, the Emperor is Richard Nixon, that's like, I am making a political statement." Like, I like that. I hate this, like, "Oh, we can't be, like, political for any reason of whatsoever," because then, like, you do things like blow up 10 planets without having any sort of reason or emotional attachment to them. And it was, like, very, like, vaguely political in episode 8. It just brought back, like, the sort of general anti-imperialist sort of feeling that we got in the original trilogy. Like, it doesn't have to be even as politically explicit as the original trilogy, because that was, like, very much like, yes, like, the Emperor is Richard Nixon. Whereas episode 8, it was, like, painted on a bit lighter than that with the, like, the whole politics stuff, but it existed, which I like. But I feel like I have so much to say because episode 8 just, like, gets the most nonsense criticism thrown at it, like, more so than any other movie. Like, the idea that Star Wars was never political, like, that's just a dumb, untrue, ahistorical thing to say. And I think, like, the why couldn't what's her name? Admiral Holdo tell Poe and, like, Finn and stuff what's going on? Like, why did she have to be, like, so, like, obtuse about it? And it's like, well, there could have been a spy and, like, she didn't really trust them anyway. And it goes to, like, again, bringing in, like, cultural norms and trends of the era into this fantasy universe, like, just, like, kind of, like, contempt towards millennials and stuff like that, I'm sure, like, everyone's been in a situation in real life where someone older than them in the room has just totally discredited their thoughts and opinions and, like, left them totally out of the loop because of, like, just, like, I don't wanna say ageism, but yeah, basically ageism. So, I mean, yeah, I like it. Um, a lot of that, what I just said, goes into episode 9 about not being afraid for it to be political. That scene at the end where the Star Destroyer is falling on top of the planet that already has a destroyed Star Destroyer on it is like a phenomenal anti-imperialist image. Again, the characters are pretty good. Episode 9, it felt like it had to do too much work. And a lot of that is because episode 7 did very little work, like 0 world building work and just some character development. I'm not sure about episode 9 though, because I've only seen it once, and it's the only Star Wars movie that I've only seen once. So I'm just tentatively putting it here. The story I wasn't like a big fan of, like, oh, the Emperor's back. Oh, okay, cool, whatever. It's just like kind of silliness. But I don't know. The Emperor's a good villain, I guess. It didn't seem like it, like, knew exactly what it was doing. And again, J.J. Abrams horrible at planning out worlds and stuff, and, like, notoriously bad at working with people to plan out worlds. And, like, there's quotes coming out after episode 9 about the person who plays Rey, whose name I'm trying to blank on, but her saying she didn't know if she was like a Kenobi or a Palpatine while filming the video or the movie. And it's just like, yeah, like, that's what'll happen if you have no idea your plot structure or plan at all. So, like, all things considered, I think episode 9 did well enough. Like, I don't love it, but it's fine. All right, Rogue One. Of all the movies here, this movie has by far the worst characters. And honestly, if someone is defending Rogue One, I'll be like, "All right, can you name the characters?" And they're like, And, like, they're like, "Oh, that droid was cool," and, like, the dude who's like, "The Force is one with" He's cool, and it's like, okay, but, like, name 3 of their songs. Seriously, though, like, I will say that K2SO, who is the droid, I like that character. The rest, I don't care about. Jin is bland. Cassian, also pretty boring. I like Jin's father, and I will say, yeah, I won't harp away on how, like, uninteresting all these characters are. I will say, like, the plot and how it, intersects with, episode 4 and how it almost just, like, leads right into it. It's almost like the perfect preface to that in terms of just the plot. I do like that. Let's see. I don't know. I think it's between Force Awakens and episode 2. I'll just, I'll put it here because Solo's bad. Solo's bad, guys. I'm sorry. Uh, actually, was I done talking about Rogue One? I don't know. You know what? I can't co-sign onto Rogue One for just having a decent like plot to like another movie's plot that already exists and is loved. Like to me, it's not difficult to do that. Like if I wanted to make like a story before like the first Mistborn book, for example, I feel like that would be a lot easier than just like pulling a good plot out of thin air because you've already got like a lot of things to work with. You've got like these like cool little Easter eggs and stuff. And I don't even think like the plot in Rogue One is phenomenal. I just think how it kind of intersects and plays into episode 4 is very good. But again, like I don't care about the plot to like Jin, like the plot to like the first half of the movie is, whatever. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could have lived without Rogue One very easily. I don't really care about it. I still don't know. Maybe like here. I don't know. Solo, not very good. It almost felt like a mini series that they tried to like entwine like the different parts together, or it was like a documentary following around Han Solo rather than being like a good story in its own right. And some of like the mini plot, like the different episodes within the movie, I guess some of those were cool. There were good chase scenes. I mean, like, I don't know what good things I could say. Like, I remember watching this for the second time and just being like, why? Like, I think like because a lot of people liked Rogue One a lot, and I know my opinion on Rogue One and putting it down here is like very controversial. I know this one's very controversial, but I think because people liked Rogue One, they're like, all right, we're gonna like do the same thing and have it play directly into episode 4, but we're just gonna do it with Han. And I think they like realized like, oh, now that people know that that's what we're doing, that gimmick isn't gonna work at like as well and make people as in awe. And like the plot itself, I don't think was as good, even as like Rogue One's plot and how it like played into it. All right. Also, I do want to say I have not watched The Mandalorian or whatever this is, Resistance, maybe. But yeah, so I'm just gonna put them down here. People like Mandalorian though, so I'll have to watch it. Baby Yoda. I don't know any Baby Yoda reference. Star Wars Rebels. This is another one right before Episode 4. The years leading up to it. I enjoyed this a lot. I didn't even finish it though, but I do just remember liking it. It was fun. Um, a lot of new fun characters. I won't spend too much time on these. Clone Wars. I like Clone Wars. There are a lot of things from Clone Wars that should have gone into Attack of the Clones. I love Ahsoka. I love Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin's fall because of Clone Wars makes more sense to me. Obviously, there are just some episodes that are not good. That like almost the less said about those episodes, the better. So it's kind of weird for me to be like S tier, even though some episodes are phenomenal. So I'll just put it here as well. It was fun, and I don't really know what to do with it other than put it there. So yeah, that's everything. Subscribe. We'll be talking more about Star Wars, I think. I'm probably going to read some of these High Republic books. And again, I'm going to do this tier list again in a few months. when I rewatch all the movies. I'm not looking forward to watching Solo. Watching Solo is like a good punishment for me if I like I don't even know. And yeah, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be doing a bunch of Sanderson stuff, reading like, Stormlight, getting ready for Rhythm of War. And yeah, so I mean, if you're a fantasy fan at all, definitely subscribe. And yeah, see you next time.